I'm a pit bull, and I approve this message.
All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Daniel Mason. You guys are tuned in to Conversations with a Pit Bull Live. A show about dogs and animal-related issues. It's the only show of its kind. We're out here streaming live from Los Angeles, trying to educate people and entertain if we can. Usually you'd see my co-host, Foster Quarter, pop up, and I'm the sidekick. But today, I'm popping up, and I've got my favorite sidekick in the house, my girl Nicole Lapidus. She's with Dogs Without Borders, one of our friendly, fun family friends, and she's in the house. She's going to be my co-pilot today. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm good. I'm better looking than Foster, don't you think?
Yeah, well, that's not even close. That's not even, see, we're stepping our game up. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Just how we do. We've got a wonderful show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about some current events. We're going to talk about this wonderful event that Nicole and Dogs Without Borders is doing this weekend. They've got a big adoption event that they do with No Kill LA. Where is it at? The La Brea Tar Pits?
La Brea Tar Pits.
Yeah, so they do that every year, and they get tons of the local rescues involved, and they do some really, really good work. So we're going to chat a little bit about that. We've got our buddy Richard from Unchained Love that's going to join us and talk to us a little bit about what they're doing with the pit bull problem in his area. And I think Cheryl is going to join us from the Portland Pit Bull Rescue, and that's actually Nicole's back neck of the woods. That's where he grew up, so I'm sure you guys will have some synergy there. And then, of course, we'll have Paula Archer, our resident adoption specialist, that's going to try to get some dogs rescued. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. We're going to try to Skype in our buddy Richard and see what he's up to so we can talk with him so he can get off to work and help and doing things that he's doing. Richard, are you out there?
Yes, sir, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Hey, I hope you won't be too mad that Foster's not here. You and I can talk and get some good things out there to the public and let them know how everything is going. What's going on in your neck of the woods? What's going on?
Well, we're just trying to get some dogs in great homes, and sometimes it works out real well for us, sometimes it doesn't, but that's just the way it goes everywhere. I talk to a lot of my pit bull rescue friends, and they're telling me the same thing. They're having problems. So we came up with a new idea last year that kind of helps out quite a bit. When we pull from high kill shelters and all like that, so when we have a dog that we keep in our rescue system for 3 to 6 months, and if we can't find it at home, through the different avenues that we use, the Rescue Me and stuff like that, then we switch over and we'll contact our other rescues that we trust and know and that advocate with us and have the same ideas as we do. So we'll transfer dogs. If they have a dog that's been there 3 to 6 months, we'll go to New York to maybe Sean Casey or something like that, pick up his animal, drop off one of ours, and then we'll keep them there, keep them at our place for a little bit. Maybe they'll get a home. It does work out quite a bit where dogs that we've had down here go to New York, they get adopted. We have dogs in New York that can't get adopted that get adopted down here. We had one that in particular that I really, really was so happy to see. We had a brother and sister that were in the hurricane up there a couple of years ago when they got brought into Sean's place, and they'd sit there for 7 months. Nobody even looked at them. We started thinking, well, what can we do to fix this? So we decided to try a swap program between our rescues, and we got them down here. Of course, the girl got adopted without a problem once we were able to get them separated where they didn't depend on each other. And then we had Styles with us for almost 2.5 years. And we finally found him a home down here. So it does work. It just takes some time, but we switch him up back and forth because it seems like maybe in Kentucky we have a lot of blue pit bulls, and in New York they may have a lot of black or brown or yellowish, colored. So we'll switch it back and forth, and it seems to help move animals better for us.
So Richard, are there like external pressures that that kind of like dictate how long a rescue can hold the dog, or is that purely like internal? You say, hey, you know what, we're running out of space or we're running out of resources, so we're gonna have to do something with this dog, or is there something that says like you can't have a dog for more than 6 months and you've got to do it? You know how like the shelters kind of work, where they say, hey, you know what, like because of our capacity, we've got to get rid of them or execute them, or how does that work?
Well, in our rescue, we are a no-kill rescue. The only time we'll ever kill an animal, and it is killing them. Everybody wants to put them to sleep or euthanize them inhumanely or whatever. It's still murder. And the only time we'll ever do that is when the animal has so many health issues that's beyond what our veterinary people can care for, and it's more humane to put the animal down in that situation than to keep them. When we commit to an animal, it's for life, and that includes even after the adoption. We commit that whole lifetime. I mean, as long as that person has that animal and they're taking care of it, it's alive, we're there with them every step of the way. If they have training issues or whatever, they can contact us. We're there with them. With this is what we've done with this not so much that we don't want to, there's no mandate that says we have to keep an animal 6 months or we have to keep them 5 years or or whatever. It's just that we're trying to get them homes and get them settled into the perfect home. Our rescue and the rescues that I work with are all foster based. So all these animals are in homes already. So it's not that big of a deal that they have to be rushed out or in like a shelter would have. We don't have a time limit, but we try to get them in a home so they can enjoy it. Dogs that become 4 or 5, 6 years old, especially in the pit bull world, they're harder to place. In my area, a black dog is harder to place, but for some reason in New York, it seems to be that the black dogs are easier to place. Maybe they're just a little more advanced than we are here in Kentucky as far as the thinking goes or whatever, but they tend to adopt older dogs up there. There's one rescue we work with, Rough House Rescue, that takes older dogs that we've had for a little while, and they put them in their system, and they find them great homes. Down here, everybody seems to want either a blue or a brindle-colored pit bull puppy, which we don't always have because the shelters are full of older dogs sometimes. It's okay. I'm sure you can hear my dog whining because I'm not inside.
No, that's cool. I mean, when you were talking about like, can you talk to us just a little bit about that process, because it seems like wow, you're going up to New York. That must involve transport, and you must be getting some assistance from some of your local community partners, or maybe just people that are just committed to helping. Like how will you do that? Like, do you take a group of dogs and pack up in the van and go, or are you putting them on planes? Are you putting them in the hands of people that have dedicated themselves to transport? Like how might that work when you're trying to do that SWAP program?
Well, now, I work with a group called, because I'm a truck driver, I work with a group called Operation Roger, and we transport dogs all over America from one rescue to an adopter's home or something like that. So we do that quite a bit.
Oh, good.
But now we don't usually do that with our own personal dogs like this. We have a lot of high kill shelters in Western Kentucky. So what we try to do is, when it gets Euthanasia Day, we will contact 4 or 5 shelters along the way to New York, and we'll say, hey, look, these dogs are available. Can you take them in? And they will say yes or no or whatever, and we'll load up a van load of those dogs. And then at the same time, I'll contact Sean or Diane, and I'll say, look, this dog is older, or this dog's been here, 6 months, can we do a swap? And they will, they'll gladly say, yes, let's do a swap, because they'll have dogs that don't move so quickly. And it tends to get dogs where they're more socialized, and they're not just left into a kind of a stagnant.
Yeah.
We moved around a little bit to be socialized more. So when we do those kind of transports, it's usually along with other shelter animals that we're saving. So, and the shelters, what they do a lot of times, they will take up a little donation and help fund the gas up there or whatever. And then Michelle or myself or one of our other friends will use our personal vehicles, make a 19-hour trip to New York into the boroughs, and then we'll deliver our animals along the way, and we work with rescues that we know and we can trust, because with this kind of swapping, you have to know that the rescue you're sending your animal to is going to be a good rescue. They're not going to kill this animal just because he's 7 years old, or they're not committed to the way we are. I mean, we talk at length with every one of the rescues we work with, and if they don't move the animal in a specific amount of time, or if the animal's not doing well at this place, then we'll go back the next month and get the animal back, or a couple months later, whatever it takes. We all work together and we stay in touch, and we're very close knit. I would like to see our group expand. I would like to see it expand to the point where we're hitting up Chicago and Atlanta, Georgia, and Orlando, and other areas of the country that we can expand to and save more lives. Because there's times whenever in New York, like, they can't take any more pits, but they can take all the little foo-foo dogs you can come up with, New Yorkies, Chihuahuas, or whatever.
Little foo-foo dogs, Nicole.
I know all about that.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's so cool. No, I was just laughing with Nicole here, because Dogs Without Borders, that's like their main thing, is like the foo-foo dogs. But it's so cool to hear. It's so cool to hear what it is that you're doing, because when you take like road trips and you see like our amazing truckers on those highways, like transporting goods and stuff like that. Like, I didn't even know that it could be you with like a crate full of dogs that are going to like possibly a better place. That's really cool. I think getting the word out is a good way for maybe that expansion that you're talking about. Just people knowing that, hey, you know what? My little donations may be helping this local rescue help Richard and these guys that are out here on the highways doing so much good work for these animals to get them to their forever home. That's really cool. I knew people transported, but usually when you see transport, they're like, hey, man, I need somebody to get their minivan or their pickup truck and take these 3 dogs down to San Diego, or take them, maybe as far as like Vegas or Utah or something. That's like, but you're out there with a truck, huh? Like getting it in. Like, that's really cool, man.
And the cool thing about Operation Roger is we transport all across America, all across 48 states. And it's done free. I mean, it's all donated time and effort from the drivers. I mean, I may leave here. I'm in Florida right now, and if I had a transport, I may be going to Alabama, up at Birmingham, and I may meet another truck driver there at a certain truck stop and transfer the dog to him, and he may be going on to LA.
Oh wow,
and
okay.
We've done that before.
So are the dogs like are they like are they in a crate like next to like a pile of lettuce? Like are you transporting like regular goods and services too, and this is kind of like an additional or supplemental thing, or is it kind of like this is what you're doing?
This is what we're doing. I mean, these are, in addition to, we've got a tractor with a load of cookies or crackers or lettuce or whatever. But like with me, when I transport dogs from Texas to St. Louis or whatever, when I'm doing the transports, the dogs ride with me inside. Now, if their dog, the transport dog, and my dog don't get along, then I always carry a foldable crate that I can put one of them in. And I would, I'll stop every couple hours, take him out potty, and then I will transfer one dog into the crate and bring the other one that's been in the crate out, take them potty, and I'll let them run around and play and eat and everything else. So they get to walk around in the truck, sleep in the bed, and everything else. I mean, we treat them just like they're our dogs.
Now this is way more interesting. This is way more interesting than like Ice Road Truckers. What I'm listening to right now. We need to figure out how we can get you and your pretty face on some type of show. We got the Hollywood connection out here. Next time we're out there your way, we're gonna figure this out, because that sounds like such a cool thing. I mean, it's hard enough to manage a dog in your house with your backyard. I just picture you in this truck with these dogs bouncing off the walls, like, while you're driving and stuff. It sounds really cool. Isn't this cool, Nick?
It does sound cool.
Well, Richard,
the dogs do.
What'd you say?
I said the dogs are really cool. I mean, once you get the dogs, they calm down and all like that. I mean, the first few minutes getting in the big truck is, I think, a little scary for them and intimidating, because they may be used to riding in a car and they're down low and everything looks okay. When they get in the big truck, then they can look out the window and they can see down in the cars. And I think it kind of, throws them off a little bit. But they do really well in the truck. I mean, I have had very little problems ever in a truck, and I have probably transported anywhere from 500 just 650 dogs from Texas to St. Louis, Chicago, and stuff like that, and never had an issue with dog fights or anything else. They get in the air conditioning or the heat. They got free food and free water. It's like, hey, I'm out of the shelter. I'm happy. I'm not going to show my butt for nothing.
That's awesome. Well, hey, buddy, tell the people out there and our fans where they can get in contact with you, not only to get some information, but also to help support what it is that you're doing. Where can people hit you up?
We have a Facebook page. Of course, it's Unchained Love Inc. We have a .org page. It's www.unchainedloveincorporated.org. And then you can always contact us, donate at unchainedloveinc.org, or you can contact us on the phone, 812-469-2331. And, we're always out there willing to help people if they need dogs transported, if they need, help in funding and their food and all like that, because we do that also. We also, in Western Kentucky, we have some poor people, and we also help with food funding if they need it. And if we're in the area, we can always drop off a bag of food to help somebody, because that's what we're about, is making sure that we can keep the dogs out of the shelters while people get back on their feet again.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Well, if you're not getting as much support as you need with what you're doing, man, I definitely think that you could be a rock star as a host of some type of show, because that was a succinct, clear, awesome pitch for not only the contact information, but the services that you provide and letting people know how they can help. Richard, buddy, it's so good for you, and thank you so much for joining us. I know you got to get out and hit the road and help some people. We're definitely going to continue to support, and you know that you're always welcome here. Your family with the conversations with the Pitbull family, and I'll slap Foster in the back of the head and let him know that how he missed out on this wonderful conversation. So we'll catch up with you soon again, buddy. And any last words before you go?
Yeah, I just want to say your co-host is much better looking than Foster, okay?
Thank you.
She's
Probably less chatty.
Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to Richard again soon. You guys, that's our buddy Richard, Unchained Love. You see what kind of cool, awesome work they're doing. Isn't that really Nick?
That's amazing.
Wow, I mean, I'm always amazed with the amount of effort and work that people put in, and it's so selfless. I mean, truckers by themselves are doing some, selfless work on those, just on those long highways and rolling for so many hours just to make sure that when we want to go down to Albertsons, there's some beef jerky and stuff. But to know that there's guys out there, packing their trucks up with dogs that are looking for and need some good homes it's a wonderful, cool endeavor. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Like when somebody says, hey, you can help with transport, I didn't think about guys with semis that are going state to state and coordinating with different rescues and whatnot. Anyway, it's just...
There are even pilots right now that will fly dogs from one location to another. We have such an overpopulation crisis here in L.A.
Yeah.
There are actually nonprofits that fly masses of dogs up to the Pacific Northwest and Midwest, East Coast, where they have a need for foo-foo dogs or other kinds of dogs they might not have as much of in that area. So it's amazing the village that comes together.
That's really,
in animal
really
rescue.
Cool, man. Well, everybody's out there on the front line doing such wonderful work. I think we're going to take a break, right, Chris? And then we're going to come back and chat with our girl Paula, who's going to help us get some dogs rescued. And then we're going to hit you off with some of this wonderful rescue events that Nicole and NoKill.org is doing. So you guys stay tuned. You're watching Conversation with a Pitbull Live. We'll be right back. Hey. All right. Hey, everybody. We're back. You guys are watching Conversations with a Pitbull Live, a show about dogs and animal-related events. We're gonna bring in our adoption specialist, Paula, who helps us do some of the work that this show is really about, which is getting some dogs rescued and getting them adopted or saved and getting them into their forever homes. Paula, are you out there?
I'm here. I'm watching you with your little donut there, and I'm getting kind of hungry.
That's right. Did you have a chance to listen at all to Richard?
Oh, yes.
He's so...
I've been trying to get Richard on for a while now. He has some really outside of the box ideas on helping dogs and different things. And I want to help him and get behind him. And I'm so glad that he was on today. Get the information out there, get some other people behind him, and we can really get this rolling and help a lot of transporters and pull everybody together. It's all about the dogs, Danny.
Yeah, it was just so cool listening to him, and I know it's like, you see how hard it is, like, not only to do the work, but also to be able to, he must have satellites in his truck and stuff, because he was beaming to us like he was in his truck on the road in Florida somewhere, and he can participate in a kind of like a multimedia extravaganza, which this show is all about. So it's really cool. Thank you so much for setting that up for us, Paula. But as you guys know, one of the things that we really try to do here is try to get some dogs saved. And there are people like Paul out there on the front line that are doing some wonderful work getting these dogs, not only the information about what dogs need our help, what rescues need our help, but also helping get them into their forever home. So, Paula, you've got some dogs this week that we can try to get some homes for?
Yes, I do, and I'll give Chris a second to get the first one ready. And while he's ready. Doing that, the dogs that I have today were pulled from a high kill shelter, and they are all in a boarding facility. They have been there for a while. This lady has taken it upon herself to pay for these dogs for their boarding, and I told her that we would get these dogs on the show. We would give them a chance to be seen, and hopefully, if you're not looking for a dog, but you know that somebody is, have them get a hold of me, and I can put them in touch with the lady, and we can help these dogs find a home. She's footing this bill, the boarding facility charges, on her own, and she really needs our help. We need to really get these dogs out there and try to help them find a home. So, Chris, if you're ready. I'm ready. Here we go. The first one up we have, this is Ashton. Ashton is looking for a way out of boarding. He was rescued from a high kill shelter, and he is now waiting in boarding for his forever home. Ashton likes to run and play, and he is good with other dogs. He's about 2 years old. He's a pitty mix who is looking for a home for the holidays. Next up, we have Cadet. Cadet is a handsome 2-year-old fellow. He is large, and he likes to play hard. He can't help the fact that he's a big puppy. He just wants a family of his own. Cadet was saved from a high kill shelter in Georgia. Cadet waits in boarding in North Carolina for his forever family. Cadet is up to date on everything, and he's ready to go home. Now we have our third dog for today. Meet Mr. Hardy. Hardy is a young adult at the age of 3. He is shy at first, but not too sure of change. He prefers to be treated like a gentleman, and he will treat you the same. He is 60 pounds of mush when he gets to know you. Hardy was also saved from a high kill shelter in Georgia. Hardy is waiting to spend Thanksgiving at home with you. He is currently residing in North Carolina. But like Richard says, transportation's not a problem. Keep that in mind. Now we have our next dog is Camaro. Camaro as sad as he looks. This well-mannered young man is beginning to give up hope. He doesn't understand why he was saved from a kill shelter, only to wait in boarding. He's hoping his family will come and save him soon. Camaro is a gentle soul that just wants a family to love. Camaro is passing his days in boarding, and he is in South Carolina. How about you bring a new Camaro home for the holidays? That would be fun. Now we have Leroy. Leroy is our fifth handsome puppy we have on the show today. He is just under a year old. Leroy was also saved from a high kill shelter, and he was sent to the vet along with his sister, who was also rescued. They were treated for parvo. Leroy was touch and go for a while. His sister sadly lost her battle to the ugly disease. Now Leroy waits in boarding for his chance to live the life that he was given a second chance to live. Leroy is slightly dog selective, but he will learn to love everyone if it means getting a home. Leroy is in boarding in North Carolina. Please let Leroy spend his first Christmas with you. Now we have Jeff. Jeff is approximately 2 years old. He was heartworm positive, but he has undergone treatment and he is doing very well. Jeff likes other dogs and is happy to be out of the shelter. He almost didn't make it out because he wouldn't leave his kennel. They finally were able to coax him out on the second day, and he has never looked back. Now we have Kathy. Kathy is the favorite of Nicole, who owns the boarding facility. Kathy is sweet and mellow. She's such a doll. She is approximately 2 years old, and she is a very solid woman. She is currently in North Carolina awaiting you to bring her home for the holidays. Now, if you're interested in any of these dogs, you can contact me and I can give you more information, or you can contact Nicole Novak, Double N Stables, that's Charlotte, North Carolina, and Nicole's phone number is 704-712-4128. And if you need any of this information, you can always get a hold of me on Facebook, Paula Archer, or through my page, PAWS, P-A-W-S, Pit Parade. And I'll be happy to hook you up.
Yeah,
and that's all I have this week, Danny.
Hey, that's more than enough for me. Those are some cool, not only the cool names, I like Leroy and Mr. Hardy. Those guys, they look like such sweet dogs, and much love to Nicole out there for taking those dogs in and giving those dogs a shot. But much love to you too for that the creative spin that you're putting on them. Like that's like the kind of stuff you read on the back of wine bottles and stuff. Like like a hint of plum and leathery, stuff like that. It's just, yeah. I think it's so hard sometimes, because there's so many dogs and not only so many rescues, but you've got to do your best to kind of make sure that these dogs have a chance. And I really appreciate the work that you put in, Paula, with getting creative with their monologues and their descriptions and stuff like that. I think it does give them a leg up, so to speak. I know you guys do that a lot, too, because you handle a lot of the social media for Dogs Without Borders, right, Nick?
Yeah, we do.
What are some of the things that you have found work, creatively trying to get these dogs, like a better image or a better presentation to the people that you guys serve?
Well, I think like Paula was doing, a great photograph goes a long way, and giving each dog an individual personality. Each dog is different, and finding a way to highlight the things about that dog that makes them different. And humor goes a long way, especially on social media. So even if you're looking at something serious like a dog who's waiting for his chance to get off of death row, if you can find a way to, engage the public in a way that isn't just another sad dog looking through, the bars. We found that to be effective too.
Yeah, it's like a animal publicist kind of.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Because some of these actors out here, they're out there running the streets and doing all kind of crazy stuff, and they look spick and span and like you'd ready to take them home for Thanksgiving. So much love to you, Paula. Hey, if you guys missed any of that information, like Paula said, you can hit her up at Paws Pit Parade on Facebook. And if you need some general information about adopting, how you can get involved, you can always hit her up, and she's got tons of information. Like everybody else, not tons of time, but she'll make time for people that their heart is in the right place. So thank you so much, Paula. We love you, and thank you so much for helping put the show together. It wouldn't work without you, sweetheart. And we will talk to you next week. We're going to take another quick break, and we're going to come back with my friend Nicole and talk about Dogs Without Borders, talk about their event that they got coming up this weekend, how they're out there doing the work on the front lines to get some of these dogs homes and get them fostered and get them adopted and saved. So you guys stay tuned. You're watching Conversation with a Pit Bull Live. We'll be right back.
You're watching Conversations with a Pit Bull Live, a show about dogs, the people that love them, and real issues. Brought to you by Pit Bull Energy Drink. Available in a wide variety of flavors, guaranteed no aftertaste. CWAPB Live will be right back after this dog fact of the day.
The best dog to reportedly attract a date is a golden retriever. The worst is a pit bull. Please support your local rescue groups. They do more to support your community than any others.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Did you make that up?
No, I didn't make that up. That's a known fact. They did some research on I guess like social interaction with humans and whatnot, and they were talking about dating, and they were, people at dog parks and stuff like that. They said the best dog to attract a date is a golden retriever, and the worst is a pit bull. So, maybe they didn't even look at the smaller dogs. I saw some of the cute dogs that you guys work with, and I'm like, dude, there's some guys at the dog park getting real lucky with some of these cute little animals.
Chick magnets, these little fluffy dogs, I'm telling you.
The little foo-foo dogs.
That's right. You say foo-foo like it's a bad thing, Danny. So.
No, hey man, that's Richard. I'm using Richard's words. That's on you, buddy. You're gonna have to contend with these soldiers out here on the front line with the small dogs. The foo-foo dogs got much
Foo-foo
love
dog
and
lovers.
much representation out here on the West Coast. Well, you guys just heard from Paula Archer, and they're as you can see, she's doing a lot of work on the fostering side, getting dogs adopted and whatnot. And it's such a critical area of this whole movement and this whole community, so to speak. Dogs Without Borders is one of the organizations out here that's on the front line doing that work here. So Nicole came here. She's going to share a little bit about what they do, and we're going to watch some little videos and stuff that we've done with them. But Nick, tell us a little bit about Dogs Without Borders. What is it that you guys do?
Well, thanks for having us in the studio,
Yeah.
first of all. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here. So Dogs Without Borders is a Los Angeles-based rescue group. We were founded in 2006, and we're entirely a no-kill rescue also. Our primary focus is on smaller dogs. We cater to the Hollywood and West Hollywood community, a lot of apartment dwellers, and we do have some bigger dogs. We do have a couple of pits in our group also, but we rescue from high-kill Los Angeles shelters. After dogs have had a chance to be adopted by the public, rescues are given a short window to take the dogs, and we place them all in foster homes. So we're 100% foster based also, and that's our biggest bottleneck in being able to rescue more. Last year we placed about 550 dogs into
Wow.
loving forever homes.
500 plus dogs.
And this
That's-
year we want to do even more than that. So we have a social media presence. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We're pushing dogs every day. And if you're not in LA, one of the sad realities here is that the shelters are just massively overcrowded. So if you rescue a dog in Los Angeles, you don't need to be a dog expert. You don't need to have a special love project. These are highly adoptable, perfect, wonderful family dogs that just don't get enough time in the shelters because they're so overcrowded. And those are the dogs that we primarily take in. We find them foster homes. We find them forever homes.
Wow, that's like she said. Like if you guys aren't from LA, like our problems are. I mean, they're really deep, and just there's so many dogs. Like especially when we go into shelters and stuff like that, it's like 70-80% like pit bulls and chihuahuas. Like that's like kind of out here. It's like you got the big dogs and the small dogs, but I mean, it's literally like you pull one out and it seems like 40 of them are coming in. So when you have organizations that are still fighting that fight and making a dent, 500 plus dogs, that's pretty incredible.
Thank
like
you, Dan.
in my book, that's yeah. So tell us a little bit about like how you got started. Like I know you transported down here from Oregon, but when you got here, were you already like a dog person, or did you find something to get involved with? How did you get started with the dog rescue?
Well, I've definitely always loved dogs and all animals, but as a transplant to LA, I was just shocked and appalled at what was happening in the shelters, and I was just someone who didn't know the facts. And once I learned what was going on, I thought I needed to get involved and help. So
how did you first learn? Like, was it just like one of your friends was like,
I was
hey,
at the
Nick,
dog park and met a lovely fellow volunteer for Dogs Without Borders, and she had a foster dog. And I said, "What's a foster dog?" And she described to me the fostering program. If you've never fostered a dog, it's free. At least within Dogs Without Borders, we provide all the food, anything medical that comes up we pay for. It's just basically letting a dog chill at your house until we get them adopted and having a free, furry buddy right there by your side.
Well, that's one of the things, like, and that's something that really impressed me about learning about what you guys do is your guys' fostering program is really comprehensive. Like, for somebody that's just kind of like doesn't really know anything, but knows that they love animals or they have the capacity to have an animal in their life, you guys have a pretty well laid out process of how they can get involved, whether it's through fostering or adopting or whatever. Could you talk to us a little bit about, like, say some of our viewers are just here for my beautiful face and they're just trying to get entertained, but they do want to entertain the idea of perhaps getting a dog in their life. How does your guys' fostering program work, or what's kind of involved if you just come to, like, say, an adoption event? Like, some people, they don't even know what an adoption event is. Could you tell us a little bit about
Sure. So normally we hold adoption events on the weekends, and you can check our website and see any of the events that we're holding, and you can show up without any information at all. You can also go on our website and look at all the dogs that we have available at any given time. And to foster, it's really simple. You fill out an application, and basically we want to make sure that you would be a good candidate to foster a dog. Because we know the dogs, we can place them well. So if you have kids, we want to place you with a dog that's good with kids. If you're in an apartment, we want to place you with a dog that's good in an apartment, etc. And once we agree on a dog that's a good match, you fill out a foster agreement, basically saying that, it's still Dogs Without Borders dog. You're agreeing to care for the dog. We give you a bag of food, leash and collar, supplies that you might need. And then we also assign you a foster mentor. So if you've never had a dog before, maybe never fostered a dog before, we have a group of dog-loving experts, all volunteers within our group, and they'll just stay in touch with you. How's it going? Are you having any issues at all? And we help support you the whole way. If you fall in love with your foster, which I did, I'm a foster failure. I have a little white chihuahua now, thanks to Dogs Without Borders. You can adopt the dog. And if it's not the right fit for you, or you just love fostering and want to save another life, when the dog gets adopted, you can take in another dog. And, I used to be one of those people who said, if I have $1 million, if I had a big farm, I would take every dog. I just want to save them all. But, you don't have to save them all. You can start with just one dog.
Just start with one.
Just start fostering one dog.
Guys. You can start with one.
We're good at moving dogs. 550 is a good number, and we will get the dog adopted, and you can save more. Or you can have a forever friend if you decide to adopt.
Man, the fostering aspect of it is so critical because, like, when you're listening to Richard, kind of like in those country places, they have more space where they can kind of like accommodate. They still deal with the same issues or whatever, but that's why I was kind of asking them, like, the turnover rate. Like, there's like, yeah, you know what, we're with those dogs for life. We can support them for months, years sometimes to make sure that they get. But like out here, sometimes it's a little bit difficult. Like the foster component of it is so critical because it allows the rescue groups that are trying to get these dogs adopted a little bit of leeway or a little bit of time to help place these dogs, because they can say, hey, you know what, let's put them with somebody that's going to love them and take care of them for sometimes a day, sometimes a week, sometimes a month, right?
That's right.
They just place them with a foster parent like me or you, just somebody to say, hey, I can handle them for 2 weeks, or I can handle them for a month, like, just so we can get their maybe write their bios and get them, integrated with some people that would be a perfect fit for them. So the foster component of it is it's really critical. And if you have that capacity, it's not that hard. Like you said, they can just come down to an adoption event. You guys do adoption events every week, right?
We do 2 adoption events every weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and then of course this weekend is the mega adoption bonanza.
Yeah, that's right. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, your weekly adoption events. Where do those go down, and what are they kind of like? Like, what can we expect if we go? I've been to some, but what can people expect if they go to like your weekly adoption events?
Well, they're super fun. If you are interested in dogs, and even if you can't own a dog but just want to be around dogs, we're always looking for volunteers. It basically involves holding dogs and petting them and being nice to them, which is a pretty good gig. On Saturdays, they're held at a pet store called Tail Waggers on Bronson. And on Sundays, we're at PetSmart on La Cienega, right in Hollywood. And the hours on Saturday are from 1 to 4, and on Sundays from 2 to 5. And we have all kinds of dogs. We have poodles, Maltese, Chihuahuas. We have terriers. We have puppies. We have mommies. We have Pekingese. Any kind of dog that you can imagine, you can probably find at an LA shelter.
I think it's really cool, too, that they're working with pet stores, because some of the research and people that we've encountered just talking about like puppy mills and stuff like that, like sometimes there's a stigma placed on pet stores these days, even when they're doing good work and they're on the right side of the fence because they are pet stores. Sometimes they get a bad rap as being part of this like evil cabal of like the puppy mill chain or whatever, but sometimes they're good pet stores, and when they begin to work with the community, work with their community partners and rescue groups like Dogs Without Borders, it's a good pairing. Like it helps the pet store get some traffic. It gives the adoption specialists and the rescue groups a place and a forum to do that they may not necessarily have had without that support. So I think that's one of the cool things you guys are doing, your stuff with the pet stores, because it helps rehabilitate not only some of their image, but also gives you guys a place to do such great work. Now, those are their weekly events, but this weekend they've got the NKLA Adoption Weekend. It's off the chain. Tell us a little bit about what's going on this weekend, Nick.
So this weekend, if you're in the Los Angeles area, if you've been thinking about getting a pet, this is definitely the event to attend. It's held at the La Brea Tar Pits. It'll be going on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4, and it's sponsored by Best Friends and their No Kill LA movement. And basically, they help bring together dozens of local rescue groups who individually would never be able to put the kind of PR manpower, volunteer manpower it takes to take over the La Brea Tar Pits. There'll be over 1,000 animals, all adoptable, and the animals change from Saturday to Sunday. So rescue groups will be there, and local city and county shelters will be there also with dogs and cats. Most of the rescue groups have foster programs. The shelters have foster programs. So if you want to just foster an animal and dip your toe in the water, that's an option. We are in booth 44 for Dogs Without Borders. So if you want to visit us, we're in the northwest corner at booth 44 just by chance. I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, man. Bypass all those other... We're all about love and community with all the rescues. I think anybody that's out there doing their work and stuff like that is worthy. Visit them all if you can, but start with the number 44 booth. That's where all the cute little dogs are gonna be. So the foo-foo dogs are gonna be representing. I'm telling you that.
It's a huge event, though. I mean, normally, the individual rescue groups, we're holding our individual adoption events at the pet stores, and this is an event that brings all of us together. So rather than going around from store to store or event to event, you can see a lot of available animals all in one place. It's super fun. It's friendly. It's lighthearted. They have a big bell in the center of the La Brea Tar Pits, and every time an animal gets adopted, they ring the bell as another life saved.
Yeah. And
the last few that have been hosted by NKLA, the shelter vans left empty.
Awesome.
So any dog that attended the event, if it was not adopted by the general public, was then rescued by a rescue group or by Best Friends.
That's so awesome.
That's how we make it a No Kill LA.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes, again, that's a good example of larger organizations like Best Friends and NKLA doing their part to support the smaller organizations, they help provide the infrastructure, right? And
That's
some of the
right.
things, some of the resources that some of the smaller organizations don't necessarily have all the resources or the ability to kind of organize and provide some of the physical infrastructure for you guys to do your thing. So those partnerships are really important, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're very grateful for Best Friends and the No Kill LA movement.
Because a lot of times, some of the larger organizations, like, they'll get, because they have the advertising and they've got the kind of like the infrastructure and the investment and stuff, they kind of like just funnel the money. It's kind of like some other corporate organization that's not really doing the good work in the community, but they're just kind of siphoning off the resources. But it's good to see people that are working directly with the community organizations like Dogs Without Borders and helping them do the wonderful work, because the 550 dogs, it's like, that's a lot. And if you figure how many organizations do you think are going to be there?
A couple dozen rescue groups.
So you got them all in the same place, all at the same time, and they're all working together to do some good. I think it's just a wonderful thing. So if you guys are in the LA area, and like Nicole said, even if you just want to dip your toe in and get your foot wet, or you just like to be around dogs and want to, it's almost like a I don't want to say a petting zoo, but like I see how kids are when they get around all these cool dogs and stuff like that. This is a great place where you can, kid friendly, right?
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Old people friendly, and everybody that's you want to spend a family day and see how we do it out here in LA. This is going to be a wonderful event to check out. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more with Dogs Without Borders, but you guys did recently, I came out and hung out with you guys at an event that you guys did called Strut Your Mutt.
Yeah.
Right? How was that?
It was amazing.
What is
Great to see
Strut Your
there.
Mutt, like, for people that don't know? Like,
So Strut Your Mutt is another event that is organized by No Kill LA and Best Friends, and it's a fundraising event. So we had thousands and thousands of Los Angelinos supporting the rescue community and taking a nice walk together, kind of like an AIDS walk, but fundraising for homeless pets in Los Angeles. And Dogs Without Borders raised over $18,000 for our rescue.
Wow.
To help us rescue even more dogs this year and beyond.
And they let, I think, it maybe was Galit that was telling me that they let you guys keep the money that you raise? Is that
That's
how
right.
it works?
That's right. So again, Best Friends sets up the infrastructure, sets up the website, and then the individual rescue groups basically solicit their supporters to walk and raise their own money. So I had a fundraising page, and you got hit up to donate to my page, which you guys did, and that's how we raised our money, like dollar by dollar, piece by piece, and we got to keep all the money for people who registered through our rescue group and also donated to our page.
Wow, 18 grand, man, that's awesome, and you know that it's going to the right place. Like it's so much. It's the work is so hard and so selfless, and you can imagine what that means to a small organization to be able to have. Some working capital just to help improve not only the resources, but also to help educate and do maybe enact some of the new plans that they have. Like she said, they're going to try to go bigger and better this year, and we're going to help, and you guys can help as well. Let's check out a video real quick of what you guys did at Strut Your Mutt, and talking with your guys' organization founder, Galit Rubin, see what's happening with the Strut Your Mutt and Dogs Without Borders. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
I'm Galit Rubin from Dogs Without Borders. We are at Strut Your Mutt 2014 in beautiful Pacific Palisades. Dogs Without Borders, we rescue dogs from all over, mostly LA, high kill shelters in the LA area. Last year we placed over 500 dogs. Well, Strut Your Mutt is basically a fundraiser. It's a great way to raise funds for our organization and other organizations raising funds for their organization through Best Friends. They have been so generous to other rescues and helping them. They provide easy ways to organize fundraisers, and this is a really big one that they do every year, and it's a godsend. I accidentally got involved in dog rescue, and before I didn't know that LA was killing so many dogs and so many animals. I didn't know about the problem, and I can understand how a lot of people wouldn't know. And I think more and more people are becoming aware thanks to things like Best Friends and more rescue groups getting the word out. You don't have to, buy a dog. You can rescue a dog. You can adopt. There's so many great rescue groups. We're all nonprofits. If someone wants to learn more about us, dogswithoutborders.org. We have a great foster network. We have a foster mentor program, so you'll never do it alone. And, all our dogs are foster-based, so we know them really well before we match them up with the right adopter. And I think that's key for successful adoption, because you're not just seeing a cute dog in a cage and judging a book by its cover. This is Galit Rubin from Dogs Without Borders. Please visit us at dogswithoutborders.org, and let's go strut our mutts. Say hi, Mazzy. This is One-Eyed Mazzy, by the way, from North Central Shelter. Good girl.
All right, that was Dogs Without Borders. That was your guys' founder, Galit, right?
Yep, absolutely.
She's this is a vision of hers, apparently, and it's grown, and with the help of people like yourself, you guys are just doing such wonderful work, and I know how much she appreciates just seeing it build and manifest. And volunteers, man, like, they make the world go round, when you've got a vision and you got some people that are willing to help, it's just a wonderful thing. I thought it was a really fun event. They did it out at the Will Rogers Park. If you haven't been to Los Angeles, it's a really wonderful place to be. Will Rogers Park, we used to go there as kids, and they used to have polo matches. They probably still have them with the horses running around, but I think they really saw where this whole community, like, when you see them all together, like, it's really impressive, and that's why I think it's going to be really exciting this weekend to see all these groups together. On the phone, we've got our friend Cheryl from Oregon. Cheryl, are you there?
I'm here. How are you, Danny?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm sorry I didn't know we had you on hold the whole show.
Don't worry. I've been enjoying the show.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm really excited because Nicole's a transplant from Oregon, and I was like, okay, cool. Cheryl's going to call in. Maybe there's some synergy and stuff like that. You'd be like, oh, that spot over there off of what's a such and such highway. Nicole, Cheryl is one of our partners. She's up in Portland, and she's doing wonderful work with different types of dogs, but specifically with pit bulls. They put on bully walks and everything. Cheryl, what's going on with you these days? What's happening up there in Oregon?
Oh, not this much. Just doing our best to keep the bully walks going and support our local pit bull rescues and animal shelters as best we can. I got to say, I'm loving this issue today, or the subject we've chosen, because I don't know if anybody else gets on social media much, but there's a little bit of a controversy out there with some rescues about people bringing in dogs from other states. And I always get in trouble for putting my 2 cents in and saying, hey, dogs don't know what a state line is. Why should we care what a state line is? I really love what Richard is doing. And I'm looking at Dogs with Borders, their website right now, and I'm probably going to try to contact them to see if I can get some information, because people listening now and on the archive show when we send it out there that don't like people bringing other dogs from outside their state that need to be adopted, I would invite them to open their mind a little bit and just think about, if there is a way to get dogs in, there's a way to get dogs out. And that by accepting that if we can forget about state lines and borders, they might be able to expand their network so they can adopt more of their dogs out, because their usual comment is, well, when people bring dogs in from other places, then that means that they'll get adopted and my dogs won't have a home. Well, it goes both ways, and I really love this conversation. I'm community-oriented. I think we should act locally and think globally, and I love the idea of everyone in the country coming together to help dogs from everywhere find a home.
Yeah, that's kind of how the show kind of got started for Foster and I. Like, I learn something every day. Like our main background is entertainment, but what I found just from visiting different rescues and stuff like that is like you've got so much of this. Their heart and their work is in the right place, but there's like a territoriality that is like sometimes like outweighs the dogs themselves. I'm like, wow, there's so much like. I don't know. It's just like a territory mentality of this is how we do things, and or you're infringing upon our operations or whatever. And I don't know what it is, but we kind of tried to create this show to provide a mechanism for what's happening today on the show, which is people learning about what other people are doing and maybe being inspired to say, hey, you know what, I can help. Even if you're in the community and you're running a rescue or you've got your own event, like, hey, come on the show and talk to somebody else that's doing and see how you guys can pool resources or how you can support them for a day. Maybe take a day off from what it is that you're doing and say, hey, you know what? Let me go volunteer with Dogs Without Borders, or let me call them up and see how we can work together and get some support from them. And I think that's one of the cool things about these larger events is it allows the groups to kind of rub elbows and possibly find some synergy as opposed to some of the division that's so easy to come by. What do you think, Nicole?
I agree, absolutely. And some of the dogs that, we've had challenge and placing, we've reached out to other rescues, and we've done those kinds of swaps and trades, or we've assisted others and they assist us. We cross-post for each other to try to help get exposure for dogs.
Well, I definitely want to hook you up with Cheryl because you guys are Oregonians, right?
That's right. I was going to say only a Portlander actually would have sat on hold for the whole show. We're the most polite group of people that you'll ever meet.
Right.
What area exactly are you in, Cheryl?
Well, right now I'm physically in Wilsonville, which is about 15-20 minutes south of Portland, but I live in Beaverton, and our advocacy covers pretty much the whole Pacific Northwest. We try to get up into Washington and Vancouver and Washougal to have our bully walks up there and support people up there. I just learned of a county shelter in Washington that really is not a good shelter, and I'm going to try to start working with some people, if I can find some, and find some resources to get in there and help those dogs. Pit bulls don't make it out, and from what I understand, the conditions are pretty poor there. So we cover a lot of the area up here, and I like I said, I think globally, so I try to network with rescues and other advocacies all over the world through the internet. So I really believe if we all work together, we can do so much more.
Hey, you can't get any better than that. Like, let me know when you're running for office, girl. You got my vote. And I think, Nicole is family to me, so it won't be hard at all, Cheryl, if you guys want to hook up. I know she still has family up there in Portland area. And so maybe when she comes back, like, you'll have some events or something that she could get involved with and still keep a little taste of home with her, still staying active with the dogs, and maybe there is just some synergy that you guys can work out or go visit some of those old watering holes that you probably.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, Nicole, you're more than welcome to come up and join us on a bully walk anytime. I guarantee you'll want to come back.
Thank you. I miss it. I do miss it. Yeah. Although the weather's better here.
Hey.
You gotta have gills up here.
What can we say? You know what I'm saying? That's just how we do. Sunshine is our main export. You know what I mean? What's going on? Like, do you guys have anything coming up, Cheryl, or something that you want to talk about specifically about what you guys are doing up there?
No, we just have our next bully walk, our November bully walk, coming up on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And I think we're going to focus a lot on how grateful we are to have the community we formed up here for the pit bull lovers and the people that have pit bulls. We'll just do our usual walk through downtown Portland, get a lot of horn honking and people thumbs up. And I have no idea how many pictures have been taken with phones that have gone all over the world of our bully walks. And that's pretty much all we've got planned right now. Pretty much summer is the busy time for us for events and things. But I would like to hook up with Nicole and maybe get some ideas from her how we could get some of the bigger players here, like the Oregon Humane Society, to maybe sponsor one of those adoption events like they're having in LA this weekend, because I think that's a wonderful idea. I can't say how much I think it's such a good idea to get all the rescues together, or as many as you can, and to have a big event that you can get a lot of publicity for and get people out there who might want to rescue a dog, or at the very least figure out how to foster a dog.
Yeah, well, it's all about just communicating, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
You guys will definitely talk, and I'm sure there's some synergy and some, not only just sharing the ideas, it all helps. So anyways, tell people really quickly where they can get in contact with you guys, Cheryl, if they're in the Oregon area or the Pacific Northwest and they want to get some information that might help what they're doing, or just get involved somehow. Where can they get in contact with you?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to contact us. We have a website, which is the P as in Paul, D as in David, X, pitbullproject.com. And we can also be found on Facebook. It's very easy. Look up the Portland Pitbull Parade or the Portland Pitbull Project. It'll take you to our Facebook. You can see our archives of all our pictures, and you're probably going to find several dogs locally and nationally that are looking for homes. So we just ask you to get in there, like our pages, and share those dogs, because the more people that see the dog, the more likely the dogs are going to find a forever home.
Awesome. Well, everybody, Cheryl, thank you so much for calling in. Sorry to have you on hold, but like Nicole said, only our Portland people would hang on and chime in. The work that you're doing is it just warms our heart and makes us feel good, and just the sense of community. I feel it in here. So if you guys are out there watching, you guys get some of this energy that we're pushing out there. We can work together and make this thing happen for the dogs. You know, it's like. We're going to talk to you again, Cheryl, hopefully next week, and hopefully you guys will get a good turnout for your bully walk. Again, you guys got the information. Hit her up. She's just a wonderful person, and she'll give you some information, let you know how you can get involved and how you can help, and we're going to plug some holes over here and get these guys talking and whatnot. We're up against it in terms of time. Nicole, tell the friends out there the event, when it's going down, the pertinent information that they need, and how they can get in contact with you guys.
La Brea Tar Pits this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4. And if you want to hear about Dogs Without Borders, dogswithoutborders.org. Yeah.
Can't get any better than that. I want to thank Richard for chiming in from Unchained Love. If you see him out there on the highway, give him one of these signs and get that horn going. Wake those dogs up that are hanging out in his lap or whatever, waiting for the next rest stop. I want to thank Paula Archer. I want to thank Foster Corder, my partner in crime. I want to thank Fred Cray, our other show contributor, Cheryl, Chris, who's operating the board for us. And I want to thank everybody out there that's doing something good in the animal community. If you're fostering, adopting, transporting, tuning into the show, if you're creating graphics for the dog's pictures, if you're maintaining somebody's website, if you're doing anything that's contributing to the well-being, much love to you guys, because it's not going to happen without us putting in that work. So until next week, I'm Danny Mason. This is my sidekick, Nicole Lapidus. You guys have been watching Conversations with a Pitbull Live, and next week, I promise, Foster will be back, much to the dismay of the fellas out there who probably enjoy looking at Nicole for an hour much more than they do Foster's cute little face. So we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
I'm a Pitbull, and I approve this message.
Bye.